My name is Aaron, and I grew up in the world of metal. In fact, it's the only thing I ever really cared about in terms of music. But you know what, recently, I've wanted something a little bit different. Well, here we are. We are doing a special Tuesday today. Usually we just do, a single sound from a single group or something like that. But today is RM's birthday, so we're going to be doing something a little bit special. Actually, I kind of want to make this a regular theme for a lot of the other groups as well. But anyway, for today, we're actually going to start off with the speech of the United Nations. I chose this one. This one kind of caught my interest the most, just based off of the description in the in the description. So yeah, we're gonna check this out, and then I have 3 songs lined up for us to celebrate. So, of course, before we start and at the end, go wish RM a happy birthday and happy birthday. So let's hop right into it, shall we?
Thank you, Mr. Secretary General, UNICEF Executive Director, and all the excellencies and distinguished guests from across the world. My name is Kim Namjoon, also known as RM, the leader of the group BTS. It is an incredible honor to be invited to an occasion with such significance for today's young generation. Last November, BTS launched the Love Myself campaign with UNICEF, building on our belief that true love first begins with loving myself. We've been partnering with UNICEF's End Violence program to protect children and young people all over the world from violence. And our fans have become a major part of this campaign with their action and with their enthusiasm. We truly have the best fans in the world. And I'd like to begin by talking about myself. I was born in Ilsan, a city near Seoul, South Korea. It is a really beautiful place with a lake, hills, and even an annual flower festival. I spent a very happy childhood there, and I was just an ordinary boy. I used to look up at the night sky and wonder, and I used to dream the dreams of a boy. I used to imagine that I was a superhero who could save the world. And in an intro to one of our early albums, there's a line that says, "My heart stopped when I was maybe 9 or 10. Looking back, I think that's when I began to worry about what other people thought of me and starting seeing myself through their eyes. I stopped looking up at the night skies, the stars. I stopped daydreaming. Instead, I just tried to jam myself into the malls that other people made. Soon, I began to shut out my own voice and started to listen to the voices of others. No one called out my name, and neither did I. My heart stopped and my eyes closed shut. So, like this, we all lost our names. We became like ghosts. But I had one sanctuary, and that was music. There was a small voice inside of me that said, "Wake up, man, and listen to yourself." But it took me quite a long time to hear music calling my real name. Even after making the decision to join BTS, there were a lot of hurdles. Some people might not believe, but most people thought we were hopeless. And sometimes I just wanted to quit. But I think I was very lucky that I didn't give it all up. And I'm sure that I and we will keep stumbling and falling like this. BTS has become artists performing in those huge stadiums and selling millions of albums right now, but I am still an ordinary 24-year-old guy. If there's anything that I've achieved, it was only possible that I have my other BTS members right by my side, and because of the love and the support that our ARMY fans all over the world made for us. And maybe I made a mistake yesterday, but yesterday's me is still me. Today, I am who I am with all of my faults and my mistakes. Tomorrow, I might be a tiny bit wiser, and that'd be me too. These faults and mistakes are what I am, making up the brightest stars in the constellation of my life. I have come to love myself for who I am, for who I was, and for who I hope to become. I like to say the one last thing. After releasing our Love Yourself albums and launching the Love Myself campaign, we started to hear remarkable stories from our fans all over the world, how our message helped them overcome their hardships in life and start loving themselves. Those stories constantly remind us of our responsibility. So, let's take all one more step. We have learned to love ourselves. So now I urge you to speak yourself. I like to ask all of you, what is your name? What excites you and makes your heart beat? Tell me your story. I want to hear your voice. I want to hear your conviction. No matter who you are, where you're from, your skin color, your gender identity, just speak yourself. Find your name and find your voice by speaking yourself. I'm Kim Namjoon and also RM of BTS. I'm an idol and I'm an artist from a small town in Korea. Like most people, I've made many and plenty mistakes in my life. I have many faults and I have many more fears, but I'm gonna embrace myself as hard as I can. And I'm starting to love myself gradually, just little by little. What is your name? Speak yourself. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. With so many young fans around the world, it was a pleasure having BTS with us, and I'm thankful that you use your platform and creativity to reach young audiences with positive messages about what it means to be a young person in the world today.
Okay, very good. I think there's a lot that's really cool that was said, and actually, he talks about how their music had helped a lot of their fans, the army, go through hard times. And as I have been able to personally read about a lot of everybody that has watched this and their struggles, that I know that is true, and I think that it's really cool that there are such people that wish to provide such options in a world where hope is very much not a something that a lot of people really care to even search out anymore. For me personally, I really just like the idea of talking about dreams, and I really appreciate talking about how he used to do that, because that's actually something that I used to do a lot more than I do now. I still do, actually, in all honesty. I do try and make sure that from time to time that I try and keep myself lofty and not in like some sort of like high and mighty, better than thou or holier than thou kind of way, but just keeping the idea of like those daydreams being a possibility. Sorry, I wanted to take my filter off. And so I'd actually say one of the most impressionable times for me where that happened was when I was in the mortgage industry. I'd worked there for a long time, and I'd do this thing where I would need to get up and I'd need to get out And so I'd go for a walk around the building. And I remember I would sorry, I got something in my throat. One day I was listening to some music, and I realized that all I was ever doing is just kind of like hunched over and looking at the road. And I thought to myself, like, you know, maybe I should just try and looking up. And I know it's something so simple, but I remember, like, for like a week straight, every single time I went out for a walk, I'd like look at the trees, I'd look at the mountains, I'd look at the grass, I'd look at the wind blowing through that grass, and like look at the flowers. And I just remembered there's like this connection that snapped in my brain that kind of just realized, like, oh yeah, you know what, like this is actually a thing, and this is actually a good thing to kind of just remember that there is hope, and that whatever it is that you're going through, you can overcome it. And sometimes we do need help, and sometimes we do need people like, you know, BTS or RM to help us kind of remember these things. And that's not a bad thing. And honestly, it's not even a negative. It's definitely not a negative thing. I think whatever you can do to kind of help you reach where you want to be is the best way for you to go about it. And like I said, I feel like it's cool because so many people just don't really care about trying to lift other people up. They just want to lift themselves and their status up. So I greatly, greatly appreciate that they are willing to put that forth. And yeah, I think that's probably about as much as I can say. He said it much better than I did. I think, like I always say, like, whether your dream is to run a deli counter or play some tennis or be the next, I don't know, whoever, I think that that's all very honorable things to go after, whether, you know, as long as it doesn't put people in danger, obviously. But yeah, always remember your dreams, always be hopeful. I think that's a very good message to put out. So anyway, thank you for watching, and thank you for this amazing speech. This was legit. And we'll see you for the songs.